Thank you. Um, just moving right back into the agenda where we left off to finish up the president's report. I mentioned last time celebrating start of the school, celebrating all the students, still celebrating. We're 5 going on 6 weeks into this. Lots of good happening. We have a lot of sports teams who are ending their season, although some still have, I think, another month even, right? Cross country, sectionals and things coming up. The turnout, as we're understanding, even preparing for winter sports, has been fantastic and making us reevaluate as well what the needs are of the students with such high demand to participate in sports. It's a wonderful way to help make connections. Again, as I did look back at 4 years ago, I thought, I could probably just borrow my notes from 4 years ago for the report with homecoming and the great celebration. We missed that in 1 year and we had it back. We are going to hear soon from our audit, which with the Audit and Finance Committee, we reviewed that here a week ago or so. It was great news, but we'll hear about that. I understand we had the leadership trip with 3 full buses. Amazing turnout again. Really awesome to see the number of students who are interested in that class and that we have as an ability as a community to send them and the opportunities. We had, which was really impressive, 3 youth come to our workshop and present to us on sustainability. It was impressive how they presented, what they presented, their concern, and things they'd like to see both the district take, and steps they'd like the district to take to help them feel more comfortable. I had mentioned to them hearing about a story on NPR about climate anxiety of the youth who are thinking us as adults are not taking it seriously enough, that the world they're going to inherit is going to be a disaster, candidly, right? And they represented that. They came and said, it's more, please take some steps that we can do here locally to be more sustainable, to support the earth and it, so that the children can inherit something else. So they set the bar high for us and made some requests, and we were working towards that as well. And we have had several community forums. Looking forward to the one in November 15th, right? And more information will come out about that to finish up the set of 3. But I didn't attend the September. I did attend last night. Again, was impressed with just the level of knowledge of educators and the constant change and the studies that are done and how children learn and effective teaching techniques, blending the art, those who really have the gift of teaching with the science about techniques and methods. Just impressive. As was mentioned in one of the comments, getting back to academics, last night was on rigorous and, education for everybody being in a diverse world. How do you make sure you give them that opportunity? And so we were focusing on that. Just all really many things, I think, to continue to celebrate. As I mentioned, I don't think in the district the sky is falling, but that doesn't mean there isn't always areas for us to improve. And we appreciate the feedback that was given. With that, I will turn our time over to Mr. Provenzano for the superintendent's report. Oh, I'm sorry. I generally open it up. I told the board I generally open up, if you don't mind, sorry, for any else who would like to comment either on other subjects or committee meetings that they've sat on, anything to share from those.
And I was just going to comment. I did want to recognize that we did have Indigenous Peoples Day earlier this month. And as a board, we are getting information and learning more about land acknowledgements. So more to come on that, but I just did want to recognize it because it just happened. So.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, Peter, I would just comment on last night's session focused on rigorous curriculum and just really talk about, this is stuff that we really do talk about all the time, improving curriculum and textbooks and teachers and understanding the programs that we're supporting as a district, and meeting every child where they are. And really what struck me last night as I went through the different presentations was the ability for critical thinking and being able to compare different perspectives and different options, different solutions. Not only choosing an answer or choosing the option, but being able to defend that to some degree by evaluating the other perspectives. And I thought that was fantastic. Definitely advanced learning from what I did in high school. Like I just was told this is the answer and that was it. I didn't really think about alternatives. That's not the way the world works anymore, right? So in the professional world or in life in general, understanding different perspectives is so important. So I just was really, really impressed with the curriculum that was described to us last night in the different areas, and just commend our staff and administration.
Great. Marty?
Yep. Well, Joyce and I had the privilege, I'm sure she will speak about this as well, to visit Brooks Hill. As you know, we usually visit all the schools in the course of a year, so it was great to be back, even in smaller number, to be able to be in the school and meet with the students and the staff. There was just a wonderful spirit at Brooks Hill. They have just picked up from where they left off and recovered from the small fire that they had right before school opened. It was wonderful just to hear the determination and dedication of the staff and the excitement of the kids. So you all have the gifts provided by PTA, who's always very generous to the board when we visit, and only 2 of us could go because of limiting the visitors to the school. But they wanted to be remembered to all of you, and I wish that we all could have been there and that we all could be at all the visits, but we'll get back at some point. From information exchange, I had the opportunity to hear a very detailed presentation about the Bavona programs, and I know that we are already involved with that, so very happy to know that, and just very inspired by the presentation given there. I have more information about it if you want.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, the visit to Brooks Hill was wonderful. It was great to see everybody there, the kids all together, and they were just going about their business as though everything was just normal. Everyone wearing their masks, and I didn't see a single child fiddle with it, pull it down. They're just doing their thing. They're having a good time. They were doing their work. I shared with you the notes they sent home with us, lovely thank you notes with the most glorious spelling and writing and just fabulous. So, it's just a joyous thing to get to go visit the schools, and especially the elementaries, because those children are so darling. And it is just too bad we can't all go together still, but I hope that's coming down the road.
Yeah, those are awesome visits. Thank you too for doing that and reporting on it. You're right, I miss visiting the elementary schools.
Want to add, Mr. Riccioni is here tonight, and he has the students who wrote the notes to all of you, welcomed us into the classroom, and celebrated us as heroes. So it's very sweet, and please give them our best.
These are the notes.
I shared them. I passed them out to everybody, so they all got some thank you notes.
We got an update that same day. They gave us a little update on their visit, and they told us about just the tone and the energy that you had, and it just, I'll tell you, it made us feel so good to hear that things are going so well. So thank you for everything you're doing. Yep. Yeah. Great.
Thanks. And they were wonderful to read. Easy smile to the face. Okay, is there anything else? Give the time back to Mr. Brett.
Thank you, and I'd like to thank all of our community members who shared their thoughts and perspectives. All perspectives are really important. We do listen and take notes and reflect and hear voices. The one compelling voice that really spoke to me was the idea of, we're all on the same team, right? And we need to find a way to always move forward together, listen, lean, and learn from each other. Those have been words that have been important to me throughout the past 18 months. And, I think that speaks to where we've been as a community, where our children have been as a community. We have students in the grades 7 through 12 who are on an 18-month, reprieve, if you will, from not going to school consistently, building the stamina. We need to make sure that we transition very carefully. I had the privilege of talking to a bunch of students. You see in the background, we have a whole lot of activities occurring, and that's great to see. So much energy, so much enthusiasm and passion that is occurring throughout our schools. I have a clip here. It's about 3 minutes. It's a back-to-school clip, and nobody says it better than our students.
It actually feels really good to be back because I like seeing my friends every day instead of just like 2 days a week.
At first, I was brand new and I didn't know anybody, so when we had a certain piece of playground equipment, I spent the whole time just sitting on the swings because I didn't know anybody. And then the week came up to when Miss Wheeler said, "You want to come play Frisbee?" She forgot she was going to play Frisbee with me, and then somebody came over and started playing with me, and we talked, and then I made my first friend. It feels really nice because I can see friends, some neighbors, and I get to see teachers.
It feels great because I can now see all of my friends. Like before, all my friends were in like the different cohort, so I couldn't see them. But now it's like cool because I get to see them like every day.
It feels awesome. I love seeing all the J people again.
And being in a normal routine again and going to school every day feels like it just feels like so more put together. Everything's been great, so I think it's a lot better.
So to me, being back at school feels honestly a little bit weird. It was kind of a shock going from only being in school twice a week, 3 times a week, to being back a full 5 days, having homework for a full 9 classes to do every night. But overall, I'm really happy that we're back. For my senior year, I think it's just great to have like one last normal experience for the year.
Math.
My favorite part is technology at the start of the day because I enjoy it's not something you would maybe always do outside of school, and it's a great skill to learn all the things, cutting wood and building projects, and it's a great time to spend with your friends.
My friends and my teacher. The playground. Personally, I love math. My favorite part about school is coming back full time and seeing all my friends, and it's easier to actually be able to learn.
Having lockers.
I think my favorite part of being in school so far is making new bonds with my teachers. I got close with my teachers at Minerva, and I've already feel like I have bonds with some of my teachers here, so it's probably my favorite part.
I'm looking forward to learning a new language because I've never really learned another language. I'm excited for that. I'm just looking forward for everything because we've never had like a normal year. Learning the Bible and the fall pyramid one night. I'm really excited to learn decimals and also algebra.
Playing sports at high school. I'm really looking forward to the 8th grade trip in Washington, D.C.
Is there anything else you want to tell me about school?
It's really fun, and I'm happy we're back full time.
I'd like to thank Christina Gerslin and Tony Exton for taking the time to put that together. I appreciate the efforts, and yeah, we're getting there, and it's happening each day. The memories are starting to build. I'm really excited about our future. Please give me a little opportunity to brag about our school district. There's so many things happening, but I think it's important to look at these facts very closely occasionally, and perhaps doing a better job of celebrating the value of our schools. Close to 90% of our students attend college to be all sorts of different wonderful contributors to our world, to our community, from engineers to teachers to public servants to missionaries to producers to become analysts, to go into work at government agencies, and the list goes on and on. Artists, healthcare workers, entrepreneurs, first responders. Others attend trade schools as a result of our rich school-to-work programming, or even go on to serve our country. Each year, Fairport High School students have been celebrated for academic prowess. Last year, Fairport High School celebrated over 290 graduates, honor graduates that is, recognizing academic excellence. So academic excellence, academic achievement, it's exactly what we do as we nurture, support the whole child. Through the years, the district has produced National Merit Scholars each year. Students have been received hundreds, if not thousands of dollars worth of academic scholarships to help offset the cost of their post-high school education. Did you know that Fairport High School offers over 130 courses? 130 courses. It'd be hard to find that in other school districts, including robust offerings in business, family and consumer sciences, art and technology. Students also have access to take 16 advanced placement course offerings, multiple Syracuse University Project advanced courses, 7 community college dual credit courses, and 3 Genesee Community College courses. Fairport High School is a National Blue Ribbon School. It is ranked annually as a high-performing school by U.S. News & World Report. Johanna Perrin and Martha Brown have been recognized for the past 10 years as Schools to Watch. This is a prestigious award that's given to less than 3% of the nation's middle schools. That's all the middle schools in the United States. Less than 3% have this designation. Fairport has this in our community. Some students begin to accelerate to high school academically as early as 7th grade to begin receiving high school credit. Our elementary schools are noted for their lower class sizes, and students have access to STEAM labs, health classes, and library media as ways to enrich their experiences. Our elementary teachers and staff and leaders are working diligently to align their curricula even further to enhance student achievement K-12 with intentional efforts. Fairport students are offered a wide variety of co-curricular activities and extracurricular activities totaling more than 120 opportunities district-wide, including the arts, technology, robotics, just to name a few. This is one of my favorite slides. We shared it a little bit yesterday. I'm inspired by Erica, and we'll continue to talk about the value of our school. This is where it all happens. 75%, 76%, if you round up, of our instructional budget is associated to academic achievement, giving our students opportunities to excel, to thrive, to be the best version of themselves, to take a large amount of high school elective classes. Look at that, 11 business classes, 4 family and consumer science classes. Many high schools have lost their family and consumer science programs, not Fairport. 10 technology classes, 11 music classes, 9 art, health, 8 math class that are electives, 11 English, 11 science, 11 social studies, and 10 world languages. We are proud of the rich opportunities we give our students. And we talk about our electives. This does not even account for our honors classes or our world language where our students thrive. Mental health, we make that a priority because if you cannot take care of the heart, the learning will struggle, or there won't be as much learning that needs to take place if we do not take care of each individual and make sure that they have all the right skills and tools that they need to be successful social emotionally. That's been a priority of the board since I've been here as I'm entering my 17th year actually in Fairport, 7th as superintendent. So you could see the investments are intentional. The achievements follow, and we look forward to honoring and celebrating and talking more about all the great things that happen in all of our program. We'll be looking at our music program, our art program in the coming months, talking with our robotics teams, and all the learning that takes place throughout our school district. So that's a big part of my report. I think it was mentioned the culture responsive framework. I completely agree. I think the next session, which will be on November 15th, when we talk about the inclusive curriculum and assessment, we're going to start with all those questions that were left out there. We really want to respect people's time in those hour-and-a-half sessions, but we are learning a lot too. We appreciate the feedback. We appreciate the participation as we review the culture responsive sustaining framework, which we know as simply, it's good teaching, right? And it's been good teaching for as long as I've been in education and as long as education has been here. It's about connecting, giving students the opportunity to have a voice, to create opportunities for students to be the best version of themselves. And those are just strong tenets of what good teaching has always looked like. That concludes my report. Oh, we don't want to have
Among the most
we don't want to do that. That was last night. But anyways, that's all I have. I am proud and honored and hopeful and enthusiastically looking forward to our next several months where we can continue to celebrate, learn, and grow and connect with each other, all of us together.
Thank you. Takes us to our treasure and investment update from Mr. Matt Stevens.
Thank you and good evening. Tonight we have the treasure investment update for the month of August of 2021. We had a general fund beginning cash balance of $45.6 million. Receipts during the month of $3.2 million, disbursements of $4.6 million for an ending cash balance of $44.3 million. Of the $44.3, we had approximately $43.3 of that invested in a mix of money market, insured cash sweep, and CDARS accounts. Approximately 98% of the overall general fund cash balance. As it relates to revenues and expenses for the month, very similar to prior year for the month of August as we move through. maybe a timing of a health insurance payment that would cross a different month overall. And just to draw a note a little bit here, in the receipts, you'll notice $150,000 back to general fund from school lunch fund. That's because of cash flow. So general fund, it's not atypical sometimes to see, depending on cash balances in federal or school lunch, general fund lending cash over there until they receive their aid payments back from the government. So that is the report for the month of August of 21.
Thank you. That is part of the consent calendar, which is next on the agenda. Need a motion to approve, but if there's any element of the consent calendar you'd like to discuss, would need to amend this element of the agenda to bring it outside the consent calendar. Otherwise, there's generally no discussion around consent calendar items. Does anybody want to do that? No? Then a motion to approve the consent calendar? Damon, second. Joyce? No. What's your name? Erica. Okay. Sorry, Erica. All in favor? Any opposed? See none. 7-0. Would like to, I don't know if it's executive privilege or whatever, for the sake of our auditor who is here and guest, to just rearrange the agenda slightly so as not to keep him sitting out there. He'd like to present our audit to us. We will take a motion later on in the agenda to accept and approve the audit as it is presented, but Mr. Stevens, if you'd like to make introductions and have our audit presented.
Yeah, tonight we have Tom Zuber from Mengel Metzger Bar to perform Ray Waggers, we're familiar with his firm in the past, to present and review the June of 2021 year-end financial audit. So, Tom?
Good evening. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. I don't want to get too close to it. But yeah, thank you for inviting me here tonight. As Matt mentioned, I'm one of the partners with the firm. I've been with Ray for more than 27 years. So I've been doing this a long time. And this by far is one of the more challenging years, I think, for folks based on all the uncertainty. And as you know, these financial statements, so we're talking about the June 30th, 2021 financial statements. And as you know, these are the results of a budget process that you started almost 2 years ago, right? So within that time period, there's been a lot of change and uncertainty that's happened, right? During the year you've had, obviously, COVID, so the challenges surrounding that. You've had certainly some state aid challenges and the threat of state aid cuts by New York State. Certainly, we all remember the 20% state aid reductions that the state was talking about. We've had some one-time federal stimulus money brought into our general fund budget, right? Which, as you know, that's changed going forward. That's now separate outside the general fund, but still remembering that those new dollars, the CARISA and the ARPA funds, completely separate one-time stimulus fundings, which will eventually go away, right? So you've got some challenges there, along with benefit and the property tax cap. So you've faced a lot of challenges during the year, and I'm pleased to report the district continues to be in good financial condition. I think consistent with a lot of the other districts in the area, we're seeing some very positive financial results, primarily because of the good decisions that the district made over the past year with all of the uncertainty. So I think that's very positive from the financial statement standpoint. We did meet with the audit committee last week, as was mentioned, and we did spend almost 45 minutes with the audit committee. We had a very nice conversation about the financial statements. The financial statements are about 70 pages long, so we had a nice conversation. We talked about year-over-year variances. We talked about reserve funds. We talked about fund balance, budgetary variances. So again, we did have a very nice conversation. When we look at the financial condition of the school district, we really are looking at how the district is managing your reserves, your fund balance as part of a long-term plan, right? And looking at how the results of this year can be rolled to benefit the school district in the future. And the district certainly does a very nice job in reviewing and discussing your reserve accounts. In fact, a couple of the key reserves, your capital reserve, you ended the year with a little over $16 million in your capital reserve. And as you know, very beneficial reserves because they help support the local portion of a project, reducing the tax impact. So again, very positive reserves you have. In fact, you used about $7.3 million of the capital reserves this year to help support capital projects and bus purchases. So again, very positive utilization of those reserves. You did look at those reserves, and part of your long-term voter approved discussions on those capital reserves, you did refund those reserves about $8 million. So you're doing a very nice job in reviewing and managing those reserves. You've got some other key reserves, employee reserves there for your employee benefits, primarily your pension systems. So again, you've got some dollars set aside for any potential spikes in the TRS or ERS rates, right, to help support any of those potential rate increases. So you do a very nice job on that. But overall, we had a very nice discussion with the audit committee and had a nice conversation. Again, very positive financial results. Again, unqualified opinion, no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies, which is really where you want to be from the financial statement standpoint. Okay.
So just a quick question. I know, Matt, we've talked about it before, but the increase in GDP and the increase of inflation over time, or just interest rates as they increase in the economy, does that provide any benefit to us or consequence of our ERS and TRS contributions? Are we at risk of a big spike there?
So when we refer to the contributions to the pension systems, as you know, you're part of the state-funded systems, so which they're fairly well-funded systems compared to some of the other states, but the reason they're funded is if they need money, they bill you, right? And that's why we'll see increases or decreases. And those programs really react based on the market and how the market trends are doing. And very positive results can lead to lower rates. In fact, rates have been as high as 20% of salaries, and they've been as low as, I think, under 4% of salaries. So they will go up and down. So, it's really the rates that are determined by the state that are dictated to you folks are really based on some formulas at the state level that they do based on the results of the investment returns. Okay. Yep.
Those who attended the audit committee, I didn't know if you wanted to add or say anything. It was again a good audit. Unqualified, I don't know how that sounds to people who aren't in that. That's a good thing. So
that's what you want.
That's what we want, exactly. So, and that's what we received and have at least every year I've been on the board. So thank you to Mr. Stevens, your team. Always excellent. No serious findings ever. So we're grateful that the people's money is taken care of. No questions? Thank you. Then we'll approve that later we'll get back to our normal agenda order, but thank you for coming out here tonight, Tom. We appreciate
Great.
it.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. We should applaud because, right, how many times does the auditor get applauded, right? For those of us who like numbers, I enjoy it. So, okay. Donations, thank you for reminding me. We have 2 donations to accept. Never been a negative vote, but also having it separate on the agenda to thank the organizations, those who reach out, in this case, the PTSA and the Dudley Elementary PTA, making donations to us, to the school district. Such great support in the community. We always appreciate it. Need a motion to accept these donations. Everybody volunteering. So Brian and Joyce, first and second. Questions, comments? Thank you. Yeah. All right, what else can you say? But thank you so much. All in favor?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, in case you're wondering what the mileage club is, so the Dudley PTA had purchased bikes for the kindergarten and first graders so they can learn how to bike, the ones without pedals. But then the second graders are a little too big for the bike, so it didn't really work out. So what they're doing is a QR code so the kids can kind of scan how many miles they run, and they're going to create a big map outlining where the kids have run in Fairport for the Dudley students. So it's pretty cool. So good health and fitness.
That's cool. Thank you for explaining that. Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Nope, 7-0. Personnel actions. 8A, 8A, have instructional and motion to approve, I'm on the wrong thing, the personnel actions as described is listed below. Motion, Marty. Second, Erica. Questions or comments? Anything for Mr. Loff? Yeah. Great, thanks. All in favor? None opposed, 7-0. Non-instructional and civil service. Motion to approve as listed. Brian, thank you. Erica, second. Questions or comments on this? No, all in favor? No opposed? 7-0. Athletics. We're looking at our winter coaches, quite a list there. Need a motion to approve. Marty, thank you. Second. Brian? Or, saw his hand first. Yeah, right. She talks, you raised, okay. Questions, comments about this? All in favor? 7-0. Memorandum of agreement between the school district and the Fairport Education Association. Need a motion to approve. Marty, thank you. Second. Erica? Looking at you. Questions or comments about the MOA? Oh, seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? No, 7-0. And then memorandum of agreements, these are grouped. There are 4 here, all of the same nature, but so we had them grouped this time rather than having 4 individual motions, but a motion to approve the 4 MOAs as listed. Brian, thank you. Second, Marty. Questions or comments? All in favor? Any opposed? No, 7-0. And final one under Section 8, personnel agreement. This is approved written agreement between superintendent of schools and an employee of the district executed on October 14th. We have a motion to approve. Mary Caitlin, second. Marty. And really, I don't think comment's appropriate. It would have to go to executive session, so we'll take a vote. All in favor? And none opposed, 7-0. Very good. We already had the financial audit presentation. We will go to our capital improvement projects 2019 presentation. Is there?
Yes, we have
There
our
we
friends
are. Yep.
from campus here. Kevin, welcome.
Good evening. Here is our September 2021 update for the Phase 1A project here at the high school.
Kevin, do you want this right here? So,
yeah.
I would, but it'd be a feat for me to get over there. Thank you.
Alrighty, so just a quick look at the overall project budget, the referendum value of $56,750,000. I won't run through all of the line items. Hopefully these numbers are starting to look a little familiar, but these are the different components that make up that $56 million referendum. So a little bit deeper dive into the financials. Through the month of September, the district has approved just over $134,000, leaving, excuse me, in change orders, leaving us $3.3 million left in the contingency. Based on contractor pay applications, the overall project's about 16% complete. And based on what we've spent in change orders, we've spent approximately 3.8% of the contingency.
The pending issues, anything potentially even more serious than the 189? Anything hidden underneath?
No, I wouldn't be skewed by that number. We are tracking different issues as they come up. For example, some of them are placeholders right now that we're waiting to see if we want to pull the trigger on that. For example, one of the issues in the log is new fence posts down at the existing stadium that we just got done returfing. That pricing came in a little too high for us, but we wanted to hold on to that to see if at the end of the project, if funds are still available, if that's something the district might want to take a look at.
Really quick, the 3.8% of the contingency budget spent on a project this scope, is that par for the course, low?
That's pretty good considering what we got through this summer with the demolition of the kitchen cafeteria and starting to get through the multi-purpose field. We're in a very good spot financially.
Great, thank you.
I mean, it seems what's gotten us in the past have been things related to suitable soils that ends up being really expensive. We didn't have any of those issues then with all the dirt that got dug into.
Not as of yet. We are just about 90% complete with our topsoil removal down at the multi-purpose field. So we're pretty well through the woods, but we're not out there yet.
Okay.
Built into the site contractor's bid package was a value of 250 cubic yards of unsuitable soil for him to carry base bid. So we do have that.
Thank you.
So looking ahead into the work going around at the high school, down here on the first floor in the kitchen cafeteria, the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing contractors are continuing their rough-in work. Little bit of a spoiler, once we get down to the time-lapse video, you will see the plumbing contractor installing his storm line. Once all of those below-grade utilities get installed, the general trades contractor will come in and start installing the stone subbase in preparation for the concrete pour. Up on the second floor, similar storyline with the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing contractors. They're working on their rough-in for those classrooms we're working on. The general trades contractor is working on framing in those classrooms, along with the roofing for the courtyard infills. And then back out on site over at the multi-purpose field, our site contractor is continuing cutting and filling the site. Once we hit appropriate elevations there, drainage will be installed. And also they're looking to pour the new pads for the dugouts at the JV baseball fields. So here's a look at the steel that went in for the north courtyard. And again, this becomes the mechanical penthouse. And here's a look at the south courtyard. And they came in on a Saturday to do that work. And then here's a shot of that steel just down from the kitchen cafeteria. Here's a look at the decking going in place on the north courtyard. And then here's that storm line our plumber was working on. And that's now backfilled. And then up on top in the roof, the general trades contractors have been installing curbs that will that new rooftop equipment will sit on, provided by the HVAC contractor. And here's a look at the rebar and wire mesh at that south courtyard, preparation for concrete being poured, and then same story over at the north courtyard. And then up on the second floor, the new ductwork going in by the mechanical contractor. And then back out on site, our site contractor stripping the topsoil for the multi-purpose field. A little bit wider angle of that. And then here's some excavation for those relocated dugouts to be placed at the JV fields. So again, that's our plumbing contractor just about in the middle of the screen there, putting in the new storm line as the general trade contractor works around to get the subbase down to appropriate elevation for more plumbing infrastructure, more electrical infrastructure. Sure does go by quick, yeah. And we do have a quick one of Are there any questions?
30 days and 4 minutes, huh?
It really makes it look, goes by a lot quicker.
No questions? Great, Kevin, thank you.
Thank you.
Love where it's taking us.
Thanks, Kevin. Great job.
Thank you.
Okay, board discussion action items. We have claim audit reports. If you reviewed those, these are claims are all the bills we send out, right? And every single one is reviewed. I'm amazed at what's caught. But I guess I should get a motion to approve the claim audits for May through September. Eric, second. Marty, questions, comments? Yes.
I do want to just highlight what you just said about the what gets caught. The amount of detail and the checking and double checking when we sit down for finance and audit committee, and just every penny and every check written is just outlined exactly what's going on. So Mr. Stevens and his team is exceptionally thorough. So I'm very appreciative.
Every penny, she's not exaggerating,
No,
right? So.
No, because some of them were getting kicked back for 2-cent differences, like what the receipt said and then what was going in. Somebody must have typed it wrong at some point. So it's just, it's exceptional. I'm very proud.
Which is why we get an unqualified audit. So again, thank you. Okay, any other comments? Motion to approve or accept those claims audits? All in favor? Any opposed? None? 7-0. A motion to approve or accept the cooperative participation agreement for the dental plan administration. This is annual, is that right, Mr. Stevens? Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Motion to approve? Marty, second. Damon, questions or comments?
And I could just add
Sure.
at this point, so this is, the district participates in a cooperative, Rochester area schools dental plan. It's a self-funded plan for the district, so this is simply the administration fee. Otherwise, we pay, our costs are based on usage of the plan, being a self-funded plan on a monthly basis. So this is administration of the plan on our, cost per member.
Right.
Thank you.
Yep. Questions, comments? No? All in favor? Any opposed? No? 7-0. Budget calendar, it ends with the vote in May and starts early on. It's already been in the works before this budget vote calendar, but need a motion to approve the calendar as outlined in the agenda. Joyce, first. Second, Erica. Questions, comments? All in favor? 7-0. And I think where we are getting ahead of the game, or at least staying on top of it, is we have our draft budget goals to adopt here tonight. There's not a motion here yet, but if we are comfortable with them, then we can, I assume that someone can make a motion to adopt these from draft into official budget goals for the year. So they're up on the screen in front of you, or up for the people to see. Are there questions, comments about these? This is right now just a discussion item.
Just a quick question from the new guy. Are they listed in the order they're listed in? Is that like a rank order of 1, 2, 3, 4, or is it just like a collective?
It's a habit.
Okay.
I'm agreed. And yeah, they're all very important. It's that's a trick question, right? I mean, they all
No,
rely
I
on
just
each
wanted
other.
to make sure that
Yeah.
if it was, I don't, especially with our conversation with the students on conservation and sustainability, I don't want anything to say that, well, that's your fourth most important goal, and
That's correct.
want to be able to
Thank
answer
you.
that.
Good point.
The first three do match elements of our long-term strategic plan. And then this fourth one, right, is a draft proposal from the finance committee, recognizing again what the student said, it should be overarching the other three, right? So it could be the first, I suppose, but it should be overarching to all other elements.
Just in terms of explanation, we have spent a lot of time on these goals during workshops, so they didn't just appear off a template or something. There's stuff we talked about. And I will say that the budget priorities do reflect our values, right? So we spend a lot of time talking about what we're about as a district and where we want to go, and that's what our budget priorities reflect.
I know this is not for me to comment, but I'm really proud of October, and we're talking about budget goals. And, I think that's just the expectation of the board of making sure that those are set and discussed about really early in the process, then often throughout. So that's a credit to everyone wanting to prioritize having clarity. So thank you.
And with all that's been going on, I appreciate you sticking to that and really keeping our eye on the ball and keeping us on track.
Well, the Yankees weren't, so I figured.
Yeah, that's true, with no Yankees to watch.
His Freetown got
It freed
totally
up some
opened
time
up.
for us,
It
yeah.
felt
So,
good to say that. So
Brian, I will say one thing in the process of being on the board. This process will provide the most kind of impromptu meetings, right, or regular meetings during the week or during a month because we have to get through the process by certain dates. So
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve our budget goals, or yeah.
Thank you, Mary Kaylen. Is there a second? Damon, second. Assuming you made the motion, any other comments or no tweaks, edits, go with the goals as stated? These will be shared, obviously, district-wide to those who are in charge of putting different chunks of the budget together. Okay, all in favor? 7-0. Thank you. And then acceptance of the financial audit. Motion to the board accepts the audit as is provided, both in public content, well, only in the public content for everybody to see. The audit is out there. Motion to approve or accept. Marty, second. Mary Caitlin. Any other comments? We've had enough of audit already? Yes? Okay. All in favor? 7-0. And that takes us to board comments. I know there's been some early, but this is just more general, open. If there's anybody who'd like to make other comments before we will have an executive session. No? No? Wow. Okay. Well, then thank you for those who have been listening in here in person or online. We always hopeful that there might be. We will have an executive session with no intention of making any decisions afterwards. So when we come out of executive session, we will immediately adjourn for the night. So thank you for your attendance here. I do need a motion to enter into executive session at 8:18. Marty, thank you. Second, Brian. All in favor? Very good. Thank you, everyone. We will get started. Thank you.